From the Joy and Ralph Ellis Stadium in Irving, Texas, it's the ICTN Game of the Week. It's homecoming as the Grand Prairie Gophers come in to take on the Nimitz Vikings. Hey everybody, Rob Willman with you. Former head coach of the MacArthur Cardinals, David Byzantine, is in there with me tonight. With his expertise, he's going to tell me what's going to happen right before the play, just like Tony Romo. No, just teasing. Gophers come in here, and they pretty much mirror the same as the Nimitz Vikings. They're pretty even, I think, on paper, at least coming in. We look at the district schedule as the Duncanville Panthers defeated the Irving Tigers on a Thursday night game, as we are in our first district week here in high school football. But you got Duncanville and DeSoto, and I tell you, Samples has done a really good job at Duncanville, and he's got them perfect so far. DeSoto, Cedar Hill South, Gophers, and then you see Nimitz, MacArthur, and Irving High School. But the Gophers lost their last game. They got shut out 21-0 against Naaman Forest, a team that runs the wing T, which is kind of exciting. Wish we could have called that game. Meanwhile, Nimitz picked up their first win of the season 2 weeks ago at Richardson, a 43-35 victory. Came at a good time for Coach Rogers and his bunch to give them a little momentum heading into district play. Jose Aguilar, number 81, the senior. I think he's kicked all 3 years, and he pooches this one here to the near sideline. That is a live ball, and it's picked up by the Vikings. Nicely done by Don Evans, number 8, who came streaking through the line and picked up the live ball. And, Coach, that's a big no-no when you're coaching the special teams to grab the ball.
Special teams is a big factor in any game, Rob, as you know. And, you know, this is very early, and but it could be a big factor right now. Something could happen really quick.
Rene Valenzuela, number 2, kind of looked at it, and then it took a reverse hop on him. And between the reverse hop and his hesitation, and ended up costing the Gophers a turnover here on the very first play. 2 men go in motion far side. And it's Lawson and Garcia. And we've got a whistle and a timeout called by Rogers. He's not a happy coach, as apparently they weren't running what he wanted them to. So one moment, Coach, you got a great play momentum-wise, and the next thing you got to call a timeout.
Yeah, that's a killer. It really, you know, coaches are that's why they have gray hair or no hair.
Well, that is what happens there. They just did not line up properly. Take a look at the Nimitz starting lineup offensively. And there's the guys up front. And let's be honest, they're not quite as big as some of the Gophers, but Armillo and company. And then for the guys in the skill positions, Ponce, first start at quarterback. We'll talk about him later on. As you take a look at the wide receivers and the slot receivers, those slot receivers line up on each side of Ponce. And then they split out to one side, and Ponce decides to keep it. That might be a face mask, and there's 3 flags. Can we have more? Well, sure, we can this year because they added 2 more officials. Man, it looks like another football team out there with zebras.
We have 7 this year, Rob. 7 officials for a high school game.
Well, that's good for the officiating guys that want to make money officiating.
Face mask defense, 15 yards from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
So it's the 15-yard variety. A first down, they'll take it. So they call a timeout because they were not lined up properly. On the very next play, Ponce takes it, and he is grabbed by the face mask, and that's 15 more yards down and puts him in good shape. Ponce wearing 13. Played last year as a sophomore. Handoff left side. Ponce keeps it. He's a very big quarterback. He's a good size out there. The guy that takes his place, Ortiz, is kind of just the opposite. If you saw him line up, you'd say they don't match at all. The Gophers defensively up front, Ramirez, Sosa, Paca, and Palmas. Linebackers, Hollifield and Johnson. And then they have 5 guys because they have a free safety in Reggie Williams in the secondary. Ponce, he's going to work on that secondary. He's got a man for a second, and it goes through the hands of Winters out in the corner. He was defended by Adron Taylor, the junior. And Winters, I think, Coach, had a step or 2 on him.
He did. I don't think the quarterback was real pleased with the way he threw that one. I'm sure he'd like to have that one back because I believe that he was behind him in the corner of the end zone. But the quarterback he'll get it to him.
You're looking at Ponce there. He moved away out of the school district and then moved right back right before the season started. And district rules says you have to wait at least 3 weeks, and they did. Ponce, boy, tough going up the middle there.
Another flag.
And the Gophers are saying he fumbled the football. We'll have to iron things out, and Nimitz is saying, look, we've got the ball. It's going to be 4th down, and I believe they're going to trot Aguilar out there, number 81, to go for the probably about a 34-yard field goal. 33 and a half. The Garcia, one of the slot receivers, he's the holder. Boy, it's got plenty of leg. It's just a matter of did he split it or not, and he did.
Very good kick. Very good kick. Lots of distance, lots of accuracy on that. Good kicker.
Well, at the 10-19 mark, 3-0 Nimitz. And I guess, Coach, the bottom line in all that is the fact that they at least got some points on the board.
They did come out with something on the scoreboard, and that's what you want to try to do. Each time you get down there, especially in the red zone, you want to come away with something. And then especially with getting a turnover, you want to make sure that you try to accomplish something with the turnover. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on this particular kickoff, see how Grand Prairie aligns and see what Nimitz tries to do with it.
Well, Valenzuela again, just to the near side, about the 35 is where he lined up last time. And going back to that first initial drive offensively, it wouldn't surprise me to see Coach Rogers and company go to that post pattern, that out pattern again, because they did have a couple of steps on the Gopher defender as Coach Rogers talks to Ponce. His first game back officially. Chance Hernandez, who is a sophomore, started the first 3 games. Put some pretty good numbers out there. He hurt his elbow. They're going to pooch it again, this time a fair catch by Valenzuela. And the yin and the yang of it, if you will, is if you pooch it like that, boy, they get really good field position. What's your thought on that? It seems like coaches started doing this pooch kick 2 or 3 years ago, and everybody seems to do it.
Well, one thing about it is what type of kicker do you have? Do you have a kicker that can kick the ball deep with height where you can get good coverage and, try to eliminate run backs? And if you don't, then it seems like that's your other alternative is try to pooch kick it. And like you say, if you don't get it, you give up really good field position.
Leo Rodriguez, he is now a senior. We've seen him the last couple of years, and there's a handoff to the split side and some good yardage and knocked out of bounds by Mac Evans, number 4, but not until, about 10, 11 yards, picked up by Tylexis Strotter, the sophomore, who averages about 8 yards a carry and got more than that there. Marshall, Leyva, Sanchez, Morales, and Marino, the guys up front. We talked about Rodriguez, and Strotter was the last guy right there that just carried the football. They'll run a couple of guys in the backfield. They even have a tight end. It's almost a pro set in this day and age. You don't see that quite as often. Eric Fagan's also in there, and that's Eric going in motion right up to the quarterback. And once again, they give to Strotter, and Strotter, great balance, and barrels his way for, about 11, 12-yard gain right up the middle. And that was something that Coach told me earlier, Coach, is that the big guys up front.
I was thinking that's what they ran. They ran a trap. They pulled the backside guard, opened it up, and the back had the great quickness to jump in the hole.
Mark Marino, 74, the tackle, moved across, made a great block right there, and Nimitz outsized, if you will, up front in the interior. Wouldn't surprise me to see Bartell and company go up the middle again, and this time they just keep it on a quarterback keeper, as Rodriguez, who has already rushed for over 120 yards this year, averaging about 6 yards a carry. gets more than that on the first carry, and I think they're just going to exploit the middle of the line.
You can see right now how big those Grand Prairie offensive linemen are. They have great size. Up to this point, they've done a good job of moving their feet and creating gaps.
They also have another running back who will alternate with Strotter as Bizzer, number 33. He's a senior. But right now they're going with the quicker Strotter, number 6 in the backfield. Valenzuela in motion, Strotter to the left side, and he is wrestled down. Coming up to make the stop is Sands, the junior, one of the linebackers. Coach Rogers said his guys up front are undersized, but he said they're like fire ants. They'll just keep biting you. And as a group, it hurts.
That's good. That's good. It's what was it? Darryl Royal said it's not the size of the dog in the fight, but the size of the fight in the dog.
That's it. You saw Coach Bartell walking the sideline, sporting his winter hunting beard, it looked like already. Rodriguez has a 3rd and 1. Strotter in motion. Strotter goes off the right side and gets some good blocks. And he's got a lot of room to roam over there inside the 15 to maybe the 14. And he was just patient on that play, Coach. He just waited for the hole to develop, and he had that whole far sideline.
He did. He did a good job of being patient, like you said. And, again, it's he stays in there, and then he's got a lot of speed. He's got good speed. Turned the corner and picked up good yardage.
I'm surprised that he went outside. I mean, there was a huge hole between the guard and the tackle there.
There was. I thought it was probably a two-way cut for him. You know, you take it where you want to go. I learned a long time ago in coaching, you don't tell those good running backs where to run. You just say run.
Just go, go, go.
Yeah.
This is the backup running back, Bizzer, number 33. He's a little bit more of a
straight ahead.
Yeah, straight ahead guy, downhill guy. Maybe a little bit bigger, a little bit stronger perhaps than Strotter, who is a lot faster. So as a defensive unit, you get used to one type of running back, and then you've got to adjust to the other. And now coming back in is the shorter but much faster Strotter, number 6 right there, the sophomore. And they've got a 2nd down. They're in the red zone for the first time tonight, their first offensive series, with the short field after the pooch kick starting at about their own 40. 2nd down, and Rodriguez still has the ball, and he is tossed down, coming on the weak side there, number 9, Jalen Oliver, the junior, one of the 4 linebackers on this Viking team.
Coach Bartell's got to be feeling.
Number 75 on the offense.
You were just about to say feeling pretty good.
Yeah,
I saw the flag, right?
Feeling pretty good until I saw that. Yeah, now he's not feeling very good at all.
No, now he's mad.
But the offense is doing a great job for him right now, and like I said, he's got to be feeling pretty good about that. They're executing everything very well.
Remember, this team didn't score a point last week, or their last time out. They average about 22. And let's see if we've got a timeout called. Play has been stopped. With those 2 extra officials, I don't know who to look at, man. I got to scan more than the usual. Yeah, I guess the extra ones they put out in the secondary.
That's correct. Yes, and they primarily they did it, Rob, for the passing game. How the passing game has grown in high school football.
Little out pattern complete here on the near side. That is Williams. Williams maybe get about 5 yards or so. Yeah, get all those guys up there, and then everybody starts running like Naaman Forrest and running the wing T. And they're, we don't need you.
Yeah. It'll cycle back someday.
Man, it seems like took a while to respond to that. We've only had the wide open offenses for like 10 or 12 years, right?
Exactly.
3rd down and 10. Have we seen a pass? Maybe just the little quick passes by Grand Prairie. Nothing deep. Nothing really downfield as Rodriguez sends his man in motion, fakes that way. He's going to try to go behind the guard on the right side. Morales does a good job of collapsing on that, and now the Gophers will try to answer with their own 3-pointer. As the Vikings do a good job, Coach.
They did do a good job. you know what is frustrating for a coach though is they were in good field position in the red zone and got a penalty that took them out of the red zone, and sometimes you just can't overcome that.
Christian Garcia will line up a 27-yard kick, almost like an extra point. Boy, a low snap in the place. The guy doing the holding says, I'm going to take off. Now he's going to throw in the end zone, up for grabs, incomplete. And everything craters for Grand Prairie High, and the Vikings will change possession as long as we don't have a flag.
Nimitz did a good job of recognizing that and rallying to the well, it wasn't
Yeah, there's going to be a penalty against Grand Prairie, but you saw what had happened. They pretty much just rolled the ball to the holder, and Valenzuela, who was part of that opening kickoff mishap, finds himself being chased.
Yep. Had a lineman downfield, I believe.
See this? Remember when in high school basketball they decided to add that third official? When they did, it seemed like it slowed the game down. There was more penalties. More fouls and everything.
More clock stopping.
Yeah. Well, that happened this year. Who knows? First down. Nimitz on the move. And rolling around to the right side is number 2, Derek Hamilton, the senior. Derek came in averaging almost 6 yards a carry, over 200 yards rushing. Good speed to the outside. And you got an offense out there that got an opportunity to rest a little bit. Their defensive counterparts, the old bend but don't break routine defensively. Gains about 7 on that first play. Ponce kept it a lot in that first series, and he's going to do it again right up the middle. That'll be good enough for a Viking first down, and he's a tough runner.
He really is. I would just think to say both teams are running the ball well. They're doing a good job. The fronts are doing a good job.
I don't know if that was a predetermined play or he had to read it.
Has a zone read, or it looks like a zone read. If the outside guy collapses down, you keep the ball. That's what he did.
Ponce, first attempted pass. Had some pressure from behind, still makes the completion, good for about 5 yards. And he hits number 12, Cesar Garcia. Garcia, one of 4 receivers on any given formation. They don't run a tight end at Nimitz. They have 2 wideouts and 2 interior or slot receivers. That's a staple of Coach Rogers, 2 on each side, and sometimes they'll do just like this, and they'll flip it on the inside, and he kind of got tackled by his own man. Going high was Lawson, and Willie playing his senior year.
That was a variation. This is a variation of a sweep. It's just the guy comes in motion, the quarterback pitches in the ball. You got linemen out in front of the play. It's just the old-fashioned power sweep. Run from a multiple formation.
Garcia didn't see his own player coming. He raised up about the time Willie tried to jump him. But it's all going to come back as there was a penalty against Nimitz. So a little sloppy here in the early go. Back them up and make it second down and 20. And both of these offenses, let's be honest, both of these offenses aren't really traditionally big play offenses. They've got to take their yardage when they can, and the chop block moves Nimitz back 10 yards. So Ponce will put it in the belly of the running back, and boy, he didn't have much there. Surrounded Alan Palmas, who's 3rd on the team in tackles. Also, watch 55 for Grand Prairie High. Packa, he leads the team in tackles. 7 tackles, 5 assists. He plays right over the right guard of Nimitz. There he is there, number 55. Good size, good quickness. He's the guy you might have to put a couple of hats on and keep him in check. So 3rd and long. Key here is just not turn it over and let your punter get it out of the into the end zone, and that's basically what they do. They run away from Packa to the left side, but Grand Prairie does their job.
They did a good job. Again, a penalty is they're so devastating sometimes, and it's just like you said. If you don't have a big play offense, it's hard to overcome a 15-yard penalty of any nature.
So Aguilar, who has the only points here in the first quarter as we're closing in on the 2-minute mark, will be called upon to punt. The Gophers send 2 back at about their own 45-yard line. Reggie Williams, one of the 2. They kick it away from Williams over to Middleton. And Middleton just watches that one go out of bounds. And the Gophers, once again, will have it, between their 40 and midfield to start things up offensively.
Good field position. You just, it's what you dream of right here as a coach. You want to try to keep the ball, as close to midfield as possible on any time the ball is turned over, and that's what their defense did. So they're in good field position right now.
To show you how evenly these teams are, Nimitz scores about 26 a game, Gophers 22. Nimitz gives up 36, Gophers give up 32. They both average about the same total of yards allowed and gained. And so we pretty much imagined, at least at this point of the ball game, a pretty close one. Little quick toss to Strotter, left side, waits for his blocks, turns on his speed, has the sideline, across the 25, inside the 20. And Strotter picks up a nifty 20-plus yards on nothing but just a kind of a mixed direction toss, sweep, just get him out in the open field.
That's what it was. Just give him an opportunity to get outside. There's a quick pitch right there. You can see they're pulling 2 linemen. The rest of it he does on his own. He's got good feet, great quickness.
Corey Jones, 13. You don't hear a lot about receivers making good blocks, but on that play there, he was able to seal off the defender and give Strotter some more running room. As you look at Leo Rodriguez, hadn't had to do a lot tonight. Sometimes, though, he will run up the middle and fake it to Strotter, as he does right there. Another penalty flag thrown right in the middle where there is usually a holding or a chop block. And we'll wait for the call.
Personal foul, chop block, 61 and 75 of the offense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
So Eric Sanchez and DeMarcus Marshall, the center and the left tackle, were involved in the chop. That's usually where 2 guys engage.
If one person is engaged on a defensive player, and then the second person comes to engage, he can block him, but if he goes below the waist, the second person goes below the waist on that individual, then it's an infraction. That is a chop block. One high, one low, can't do that. You can both be high, you can both be low, but not
Can't be the high-low.
Nope.
Fake to Strotter. Rodriguez in danger. He just tosses that. That could be a fumble. If it's considered a backward lateral, it is a fumble. Hernandez goes down the sideline. They don't have replay in high school ball. All he was trying to do was just get rid of it. And it ended up bouncing into the hands of the Nimitz Vikings. And if you're a Gopher fan, you're going, oh, we gave you one. But it all started with pressure coming from the outside by Nimitz.
Exactly. Good pressure from the outside, and I think the quarterback, as you said, was just trying to, get rid of the ball. I think if it had been forward, I think they'd have been penalized because I think that was a intentional grounding. Looked like it could have been intentional grounding. So very fortunate for Nimitz. Very alert play.
Tomas Henderson, number 21, you see him right there, the beneficiary of that off-the-chart play or wheels-off play, however you want to say. The extra point is true, and just like that, it's the Nimitz Vikings on top by a score of 10-0. Take us through the mindset, Coach.
Quarterback looks like they're trying to run a bootleg. He runs right into pressure. Now he's trying to get away. And you can see that he threw the ball. Had the ball not gone backwards, that would have been, as I said, an incomplete pass, but it would have been probably intentional grounding. But it definitely went backwards. Very alert play.
Watch it again from the end zone. Watch to the right of your screen. Watch the pressure right there. That's how it all started.
Yep.
The pressure from, looked like maybe Damian Evans, number 8. I couldn't tell if that was an 8 or a 3. Nonetheless, the guy on the edge comes across and provides all the pressure. And Tomas, he gets his name in the newspaper, but it's his fellow defenders that really provided the pressure, Coach.
Exactly, exactly. But, you know, it takes all 11 to win this game.
Okay, they're saying 3 in the booth, so in the truck, so that's Collins, the junior. He alternates with Evans on the corners. And so that was just a corner blitz. Corner came in, provided the pressure.
When you're a defensive coordinator, you're really feeling good about that call because, you know, like I said, the corner blitzed right off the edge from where the quarterback was rolling, too. And, I mean, it worked out great for Nimitz. Had he rolled the other way, it might have been different.
See, he can kick it deep.
Yes, he can. Yes, he can. That was good right there. I like their philosophy.
He's got a strong leg. Well, the Gophers had pulled everybody up. The closest guy to the goal line was at the 20. So that was for Aguilar, man. That was just rock and roll time. But that last play, I don't know if we have it. We can look at it again. But the pressure on the outside to Rodriguez is what really made the difference in that whole series of events. Top of your screen, it's a linebacker. It's number 9, Oliver, right there. It's Oliver who came in off the edge, number 9. And the question was, you know, if we had replay, they'd say, was the knee down?
Exactly. Yeah.
But here we go. On the 25, Strotter goes in motion. Rodriguez. Step. Plenty of time. Down and out. Nobody there. Nothing but a long, incomplete pass. Had the happy feet, but really not a lot of pressure. I mean, at that time, Nimitz was only rushing 3 guys.
You're right. They're playing a 3-man front. You know, they've got the drop linebackers on each side where they can come on certain calls or they can drop. And that time they only had a 3-man rush. Here we go again, lined up in a 3-man rush.
McGuire, big old 51, right over the center. And they give to Strotter off the right side, and somehow he breaks free. Great leg movement. A lot of work for 5 yards, but it sets up a manageable 3rd down and 5 as the clock begins to wind down here in the first quarter of play. And boy, we've seen practically everything in the first quarter, and if you're a Viking fan, everything is going your way. So we finish the quarter. The Vikings 10, the Gophers nothing. Back with the second quarter in a moment. Homecoming 2017. Coach was telling me before the ball game, he says, not only is it homecoming, it's our first district game of the season. It's also grade week, so you have to sweat out the grades. He said he's ready for this one to be over with and get back to your normal routine. And there's some nice normal routine for the Viking interior linemen as they controlled the line of scrimmage on that play.
That was a big 3rd down play right there for Nimitz Vikings. Good job on 3rd down. Going to make them punt the ball. They get the ball back.
Michael Halfaker is the punter. He'll be standing at his own 16-yard line. And the Vikings will send 2 back as well. Henderson, number 7, and Sherman, number 1. High snap, but not much of a rush, and he shanked it a little bit over here to the near side. It's a nice bounce. Sherman thought about it, and he gets a really nice bounce inside the 20. And Nimitz will take over at the 18. Boy, at first I thought the thing was going to go out of bounds 10 yards upfield. Got a nice hop and bounce, and ends up being a pretty good punt for the Gophers.
You know, Rob, I believe it's the national average. This may be college ball, not necessarily high school ball, but the national average for an unfielded punt, if you don't catch a punt, you're normally going to lose 18 yards.
18.
18 yards. That's about what that was.
Yeah. A new running back in there, Billy McGee, just to the left of Ponce. And they give to McGee, and McGee gets a couple of yards, and then a swarm of Gophers. He's still moving around like a scrum before they finally call the play down across the 21. It's our first week of district play. They've had about 4 weeks of high school football, and Coach Visiting said he's been out watching some games already this year. What's your impressions of what you've seen around the Metroplex?
Well, I saw Plano and MacArthur play. I think Plano is really a pretty good football team. They've got, of course, they're in a very tough district over there, as you know. But they've got a chance maybe to do some things this year, get back in the playoffs.
Yeah, they're just stuck with Allen over there. Going deep, there's a man open, but out of bounds is number 12, Cesar Garcia. Cesar with some speed, got behind the defender, but Ponce feeling the pressure. At first, I thought he just unloaded it just to get it out of bounds. But watch the rush. Who did we talk about earlier? We talked about number 55, Paca, the leading tackler on this team. And he was coming back on the blind side and pushed him into another defender, and he felt like a pinball back there. Stops the clock, 3rd down, 7. Ponce is a quick drop back and a bounce pass to Lawson, and they're going to call that an incomplete pass. It was not backwards, so it's not lateral.
They were trying to set up a little screen, I think, over here, and they had it. I believe they had it if they'd have been able to complete the pass, but unfortunately they couldn't, and so we got to punt the ball.
I remember those years that Nimitz would hardly throw anything maybe more than 10 yards at a time. They would just nickel and dime you with those quick little out passes. You've got to have some speed, and you've got to have some guys out there that can make plays in the open field.
You do. It's just like, it's like getting the ball to a good running back in open field. If you just throw it to him quick, it's a good high kick.
Aguilar got some distance on it, goes out of bounds at about the 45. One of the Viking players, and now there's the flag. This is where, Coach, 2 extra sets of eyes really pays dividends, and that's plays that happen away from the football. And you've got officials that are watching it now.
After
and
play,
one of the
number 22, Grand Prairie.
Wait for the call.
15-yard penalty added to the end of the run. 1st down.
So Angel Gutierrez, our number 22, Emmanuel Torres, called for that personal foul. It was like a blindside hit, and you've got an umpire that's trailing the play, looking at what's happening away from the football, and that's what happened. You get caught. So
it's like you can't get away with anything anymore.
Not on that play.
Yeah.
Coach Bartell has seen it all, pleading his case to the referees, but he knows you're not going to win it. Did you ever think that if you made your case on one play, they would come back and make it up for you later?
Of course. No. But you always felt like, hey, I can plead my case. This is not right. Let me call this game. I know how to call it. But, yeah,
makeups? You never thought you got a makeup call later?
Yeah, really, you do sometimes. But those officials, overall, they do a great job.
Right. Beiser, number 33, back in the lineup as a running back, just to Rodriguez's right, our left on the screen, and we've got another whistle. Man, you'd think this is the first game of the season.
Really is. Really is. Having
75 on offense.
Early and,
5-yard penalty.
Like you said, you would think that they'd have some of those things ironed out. Now, I know both those coaches are just, their stomach is churning right now.
Marshall, number 75, the left tackle, moved right before the snap. So it's 1st and 15 in the shotgun. Rodriguez waits. Has a man open on the far corner. man Corey Jones. That's his go-to guy. A senior with a touchdown and averages about 10 yards every time he catches the football. He's got the speed. So if you've got a DB, a shutdown corner, you put him on that guy right there. So it's second down. It seems to me maybe the Gophers should go back to the running attack. It seemed like it worked pretty well a couple of series.
They were having success early. They were, controlling the line of scrimmage. And
they give to Strotter, and Strotter goes up the middle, and Strotter has a first down.
And they heard you.
Yeah.
They heard you. Coach Martell heard you, so he called a running game.
It's just they've been able so efficiently to run between the tackles with that guy right there, number 6.
They really have. And, like we said in the opening drive, offensive line is doing a tremendous job.
And he's just a sophomore, so Bartell has him for a couple of more years. Now, the thing is, will Nimitz counter and maybe hedge their bets a little bit with the linebackers? Well, if you do that, you're not going to go anywhere. That's Doro, the senior, number 70. Big guy controlled the line of scrimmage on that play.
Good penetration right here. Good penetration. He beat the guy across the line of scrimmage, and as you could see, was right in the middle of the backfield. Good job.
Yeah, that's the row. Yeah, he beat Fagans, number 8, who lines up as a tight end sometimes. And so the Gophers find themselves in second down 13. Rodriguez a little quick down and out again, and just like that. Oh, I don't know if he stayed in bounds, but if so, Jones picks up a first down. See, he's so dangerous after the catch.
Yes, he is.
Has the tools, has the speed. And they do get a first down out of it. I mean, that's a pretty basic play, wouldn't you say? Just a few yards, down and out. Let the receiver do all the work.
Again, yes, it's just the opportunity of getting the ball in the open field and having a good athlete, have all that room to maneuver.
Strotter is back in there as a tailback. Nimitz crowding the line of scrimmage. There's a fumble. Ball still loose, and the Gophers come up with it. Man.
8-yard gain, 7-yard gain.
Look who it was. It was Jones, number 13. He's so fast, he was able to pick up the fumble from the wideout slot. He just never had control of it.
Never got the ball, huh? Never got it. Never got his hands or arms around the ball.
That was the backup running back, Beiser. But they pick up 8, I think, once everything's said and done. Maybe 7. So it's second down. In Viking territory once again, second quarter of this homecoming game. Rodriguez fakes to the middle, goes to the left, and he will be about a yard shy as he is wrapped up by Collins there on the corner. We've got another penalty flag, Coach.
Holding, number 74 of the offense. 10-yard penalty, second down.
Once again, Grand Prairie High School just killing themselves on penalties. Watch one of the two linemen. Is it?
Oh, 74, yeah.
Yeah, Mark Marino. You can't hide. And that'll push him back to second down and 13, but it is second down, so they got a couple of downs to make up for it. Strotter back in at the running back. Tight end left. Fake to Strotter. Rushes on from the weak side, and the pass is out of bounds. Boy, coming on that weak side, and looked like Oliver again applying the pressure. And Rodriguez lucky he didn't get tattooed from the blind side. Man, that is twice now that Oliver, number 9, has blitzed from that outside. They call him a linebacker, but the way he lines up, he looks like an end.
Yeah,
almost, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's it. That's some of the advantages of that 3-5 defense. They can play those guys. They can play a 3-man front with both those guys on the outside lining up on the line of scrimmage or off the line of scrimmage. See, now both of them are up. They walked up. Both of them are coming.
Third down. Rodriguez is going to let this one rip. Throws it up for grabs and it's picked off. They're going to fight for it at the 12, but it appeared to me that Collins came down with that. Let's check it out, either Collins or Evans on the corner. And they're going to give it to Nimitz. Almost as good as a punt, Coach.
Yeah, it is, and you got to give Nimitz a lot of credit for putting pressure on the quarterback, because I noticed that not only on that play but the play before, they're just running two-man routes. So that means they got 8 guys in there somehow blocking, and Nimitz is still able to put a lot of pressure on them. So you got to give him a lot of credit.
Evans gets the interception, and Nimitz gets the football again. Flags.
Ball start, number 56 of the offense. 5-yard penalty, first down.
So that'll march him back 5. Man in motion again to the right side. Fake one way, go to the left. That's not going to work. Just fall down, dude. Sometimes you just got to fall down. As Emmanuel Ramirez, number 42, the senior, came crashing down on the weak side, and there wasn't a lot of space for Ponce to make any move whatsoever. It's a good ebb and flow, I think. Just when you think one team, at least the interior line, because to me, that was one of the big stories coming in, Coach, is that I thought one side maybe be a little bit better than the other, and Nimitz was able to neutralize for a while, but now it seems like the Gophers are turning it up a little bit, just like right there.
Again, I don't want to be redundant, but they did it with a 3-man front, and that's pretty impressive.
Pack of 55, left part of your screen, stands up the left guard, sheds the block. And then Packa wraps him up and has some help from Palma, 77. Wasn't a lot of running room. So it's third down. You got to be careful here. You want to get a little space and give your punter some punting room. Splits on each side. And Ponce plays it safe and just throws over here to Lawson. Lawson, good speed, good move at the 15, gets across the 20, 25, and if you can get a few more guys to push him, they finally blew the whistle, but I think everything's said and done. He's going to get a first down out of this.
It's a good call, good execution, good call. Again, a quick pass out in the flat, good block out here on the cornerback.
Very good block, and Willie's got such great speed. That's called a clipboard toss play. When you do something like that, the coaches on the other team are throwing their clipboards down on the ground. They're so disgusted. How could somebody do that? Ponce up the middle, tripped up. Ramirez again, 42, got across the line and was able to tackle him around the ankles. And Ponce only gets a couple. Remember, this is Ponce's first game of the year. He played a lot last year. And he had to sit out the first 3 since he left the district and then moved back in. And they followed the rules, and they said, hey, you gotta sit out. He did. And it's second down and 8. Closing in on 5 minutes here in the first half. And there goes the speedy McGee, and McGee works around the outside tackle. Picks up 5. It seems that, except for that one running back for Grand Prairie, Nimitz may be a little quicker, Coach.
I think so. Yes, they're doing a good job when they get in the open field or when they get a gap. They're hitting it and doing a good job.
Blade James, 16, just to the bottom of your screen, faking the blitz, and here he comes.
There it is.
And they run right past him and get the first down. That's when the play calling works to your advantage. They caught Grand Prairie High in a blitz off the corner, and they ended up running between the tackles.
Yeah, ran inside of it. They were coming off the edge, both edges, and they ran inside of that.
McGee having to work on his shoot a little bit. But it's another Viking first down. Time winding down here in the second quarter. At halftime, we'll have the homecoming festivities and the homecoming queen in her court. Lawson lost it, and boy, it almost fell right into the arms of Adron Taylor, number 1. Lawson didn't know where that ball was at, and it was just fluttering up in the air, and Taylor right there was trying to get a read on it and bring it in and take it to the house, but luckily for Nimitz, it fell harmlessly down on the ground and stops the clock with under 4 minutes to go.
They were fortunate on that. They were fortunate. The pass was a little high, but still it could have turned into a lot worse. So at least they lived to play another down.
McGee, who has 128 yards coming in. Ponce keeps it. And he really hadn't had a lot of room to run, Coach.
No, he hasn't. He has not. They, again, you know, I think that has to do with the read on the zone read, and I'm sure that I know he's been practicing all these 3 weeks, but game time speed, he'll get better. He'll get a lot better. At his reads and at his reactions and so forth.
So you've got McGee, 22, just to the left of Ponce. And then to the right is Lawson in the slot, nearest the quarterback. Probably 2 of the fastest players on the team. And Lawson gets a pretty good block. And McGee just keeps the legs turning. And the Gophers say he fumbled the ball, and they got it. And they do. That is Blade James, number 16. And, Coach, that could just be one of those things where a player just tries to get that extra yard, extra half yard, and it ends up costing him the football. Don't know if we have it on replay or not, but watch.
You know, you're exactly a good tackle right there. I think the ball was coming loose on the first hit, but yes, he was. There it is. The ball's coming out, and you know, it's one of those danged if you do and danged if you don't. The kid is fighting his heart out, trying to get extra yardage, and at the same time, he's almost a tackling dummy.
Yeah,
you know,
Reggie Williams, number 5, just yanked it out. So the Gophers get the turnover. They've got plenty of time. They've got good field position. Here's one of those quick moves to Slaughter again. And Slaughter, boy, he can really move, and he somehow breaks through the pile at the 40 and is tripped up and finally loses his balance at the 36, but not until he gets a first down.
He is very quick-footed. I mean, I know he's got good speed, but those feet are a little like little buzzsaws. They just keep pounding the whole time. Here they are. Watch his feet. Just bang, 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 bang. Good jump cut.
Yeah, he can cut.
Yep.
Cut on a dime and leave some change. First down and 10. Rodriguez fakes to Slaughter and goes a little out pattern. Complete to the opposite side. Picked up by number 2, Rene Valenzuela, who's opposite of Jones. Jones is on the near side, and Valenzuela lines up on the far side, and they try to keep the Vikings honest by going away from their favorite target. Give them about 5 yards on the pickup. Gophers with all their timeouts left. Trying to break the scoreless streak. They haven't scored in 5 quarters. Right side is Straughter again. Will be about maybe a half yard shy of the first.
That's a very good tackle, very good open field tackle, especially on that young man right there, because he has done a tremendous job so far tonight.
Yeah, keep him contained. Easier said than done. But again, the Gophers haven't scored yet up to this point. So the Vikings have taken advantage of Gopher mistakes. Have a 10-point lead at least now. Straughter right side. Flag comes flying from the goal line. That usually means a penalty on the offensive line, more than likely. Well, nope, the Gophers are clapping. Let's hear what
to the
the
face
official
on the
says.
defense. Half the distance. First down.
Hands to the face against one of the Viking defenders. And probably the first time, Coach, the Gophers get a break.
That's true. That's exactly right. And, you know, official that made that call in the far back, his responsibility is the tight end on either side of the formation. So that play involved the tight end and the defensive end. So like you said in the beginning, it could have been holding. If it was holding, it was going to be on the tight end. If it's what they called it, then it had to be against the tight end. So that's
Quarterback keeps Rodriguez for maybe 2. Under a minute to go, and you would expect maybe Bartell and company would call a timeout. I guess they feel pretty confident so far. Well, now
there it is.
Timeout.
Yeah. The field judge is the back guy. That's what the back judge. Back judge. That's what I was trying to think a while ago. And like I said, his responsibility is the end man on the line of scrimmage, whether it be the tight end on either side.
So it's 2nd and goal from the 7. There are the host of officials tonight, all the way from the referee and umpire, and the new officials we have are what, the field judge and the back judge, perhaps. What are the different?
I think both of them, and I could be wrong here, but I think both of them are called field judges.
Okay.
Got, as you can see, they're probably aligned themselves about 10 to 15 yards downfield, and they're on the sideline. And then, of course, on the line of scrimmage, you're going to have the line judge on both sides of the ball, and then you've got 2 field judges and 1 back judge.
Yeah, and right
Plus
now,
the referee
right.
and the umpire.
So the 2 extra ones are in the back corners of the pylons. Meanwhile, 2nd and goal. Rushes on. Rodriguez to the end zone, knocked away. Nicely done by Evans, number 4. And it'll be 3rd down and goal. This is where you get to play coach and you don't have to suffer the ramifications of whether it's right or wrong.
That's right. Again, our man number 9 put pressure, brought the pressure. He's done a good job.
Oliver has really been the one guy defensively that has been in the face of Rodriguez all night.
Yes, he has.
And he's lining up here on the near side. He's not even in a 3-point stance. He just takes off once the ball is snapped. And here he comes again. Bad snap. Rodriguez spins. And now we got a 4th and goal. Do you bring in the field goal unit, Coach?
Oh, this is one of those, like you said, this is one of those tough decisions. You're down 10-3, I think you kick the field goal. Put something on the board right before half. You get a little momentum.
Let's see what happens here. The bad snap.
Ball
he just
never
rolled it
got
to
back.
him.
Yeah.
And do you trust that snapper on the field goal? And that's what happened last time, remember?
Well, that's true. That's exactly right. Yeah.
Now, Bartell's going to call a time. Right, the difference in the game clock and play clock is 2 seconds.
2 seconds. He's going to run it down and call timeout and kick the field goal.
And hope that his
Gets the
deep
ball
snapper gets the ball to the holder. Boy, missed opportunities for Grand Prairie High in the first half. That would be one headline.
I was thinking a while ago they have moved the ball offensively, and you look at the scoreboard and there's nothing up there. It doesn't appear like it should be a shutout. But got to give Nimitz credit.
Yeah, they've been opportunistic.
Yes, they have. Good point.
And they've dodged a few bullets to boot. And so let's really pay close attention to the snapper and the holder. That was what caused trouble last time. Valenzuela is the holder, number 2. Garcia is your kicker. Good snap, good hold. Looks pretty good from here. And it is. And that's how we end the half, folks. The Vikings go into the break with a 7-point lead. 10-3 over the Gophers at the half. When we come back, your homecoming queen for 2017. Stick around. Vikings on top 10-3, halftime. It is homecoming Let's go down to the field and get the introduction of the homecoming queen in her court, and we'll find out who this year's homecoming queen is.
Plans to attend the University of Texas. Our last senior princess is Miss Stephanie Rodriguez Serrano. She is being escorted by her mother, Marissa Serrano, and her brother, Jimmy Rodriguez. After graduation, Stephanie plans to attend college and become a criminal defense lawyer. Now our princes. Our first senior prince is Mr. Alfredo Martin Alfaro. Alfredo is being escorted by his mother, Lucero Alfaro. Alfredo is currently the treasurer of FCCLA at Nimitz. His hobbies include drawing, watching movies, and gaming. His interests are music and sports. After graduation, he plans to continue his studies at college. Next is Senior Prince Mr. Jason Ortiz. Jason is being escorted by his parents, Press and Maria Ortiz. Jason is a member of the varsity football team where he plays quarterback, and he serves as a DECA officer. He likes to play the piano and listen to music. Next is Senior Prince Mr. Jonathan Fairley. He is being escorted tonight by Nimitz Assistant Principal, Mr. Victor Jones. Jonathan serves as President of Theater and Treasurer of the Student Council. Our last senior prince is Mr. Tyler Rodriguez. He is being escorted by his parents and siblings. He is a member of the Student Council, National Honor Society, and the varsity football team. After graduation, he hopes to attend the University of Dallas. Ladies and gentlemen, your 2018 homecoming court. Now, we will have the crowning of the Queen by this year's Grand Marshal, Miss Margie Stipes, assisted by our administrative liaison, Miss Kristen Fisher. The 2018 Valhalla Homecoming Queen is Miss Alyssa Villa. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time for your homecoming queen, Miss Alyssa Villa. And now, the 2018 Homecoming King will be announced at the Homecoming Dance Saturday night.
Well, congratulations to Alyssa Villa, the 2017 homecoming queen for the Nimitz Vikings. A nice smile and wave, pretty young lady, and proud parents and relatives as well. Congratulations again to Alyssa. Already a homecoming in the books, the first of 3 on ICTN this year. This one, the Nimitz Vikings. Let's take a look at first half highlights, and it started with the very first kick of the ball game, the pooch kick by Jose Aguilar, and it just bounced around like a hot potato and picked up eventually by the Vikings, and that led to a field goal, and they had a 3-0 lead. And then here's the field goal here by Aguilar, made it 3-0. And then it was some turnovers again. That was pretty much the key and underlying statement of the first half. Rodriguez nowhere to go. Great pressure that time, and he just tries to get rid of it and ends up being a backward pass. Tomas Henderson picks it up, and it was the pressure by Oliver that really provided the turnover right there. And Oliver played just an outstanding first half. And then in the second quarter, watch here, this long pass by Leo Rodriguez, and it's picked off by Mac Evans, the big interception. And the turnovers were the key. As you'll take a look in the statistics here in the first half. The turnovers, it was a 3-1 margin, something the Gophers won, but they're not going to be proud of. They led in first downs, and they led in overall total yards. But, you know, folks, all that counts is the score. But you could probably look at the last two categories. What really offsets the fact that the Vikings were outrushed and outpassed, and that's the fact they only turned over once. They only had 3 penalties for 27 yards, and those 6 penalties for Grand Prairie High came at really bad times where they were marching the football. They were inside the red zone. It pushed them back, and they ended up coming away with no points whatsoever. So that's what's happened with one half of football. We'll take a break. We'll come back, and we'll kick things off in the third quarter. 10-3 right now. Nimitz on top. All right, we're just moments away from the third quarter. Gophers will kick off. Garcia will tee it off at his own 40. Will he do the same thing and pooch it? Yes, he does. If it goes out of bounds, that's good news for Irving Nimitz. They'll throw the flag. And that's probably not what Coach Bartell and company really wanted from their kicker. Pooch it, yes, but not out of bounds.
That is a major, major penalty when you think of field position. I mean, it always has been, whether it goes out of bounds on the 5 or it goes out of bounds right there. It's you end up with great field position on that particular penalty.
Yep, they give them 5 more wherever it went out of bounds. They move it up 5 more, so they'll have it at their own 35-yard line. For Ponce, in his first game back this year, had a little running room in his first couple of offensive possessions, but then after that, the Gophers pretty much kept him in check. And now something a little different, a busted play. Ponce gets hit really hard at the line of scrimmage and somehow keeps his feet and keeps the football. I mean, he got popped pretty good, Coach.
Yes, he did. They were teeing off on him from the word go. Of course, you know, the play was busted from the start. Again, a bad snap. Bad snap.
Yep. He probably trying to go maybe to Lawson. They had Hamilton go in motion, and all Ponce could do is just hold on to the football. This time they go up the middle, swinging left, good for, I don't know, 5 yards or so, is number 2, Derek Hamilton. Again, Derek came in carrying the load for this team, and he was the leading rusher. Didn't get a lot of touches in the first half. Just a strange first half with the 3 turnovers, one leading to the touchdown and another to a field goal. Vikings really haven't moved the football that well. Here's a man wide open, though, in the corner, and they overthrew him as Winters had snuck behind the defensive back, James, and boy, Winters was going down the sideline, and if Ponce could have put just a little bit more air underneath it, Coach, I think he'd still be running.
That's a well-designed play. You know, they brought the man across the formation in motion and brought the secondary over the top, so to speak, and then the outside receiver ran a little stop-and-go route, and, yes, he was wide open.
Also notice the coach is talking to the receiver, though, Winters, so don't know if that was the exact route he was supposed to run or not. Nonetheless, Vikings must give up the football in their first possession, and a high end-over-end kick fielded at the 28-yard line and picked up by number 5, Williams. And we've Flags everywhere. Back at the 45 of Grand Prairie High. Reggie decided to take a chance.
Block in the
Usually
bag,
that's a
number
block.
55 of the return team. 10 yard from that foul, first down, Grand Prairie.
And the penalty against number 55, Paca, for Grand Prairie High School. The defensive gym for them so far in the first half called for the penalty on special teams. Little block in the back will move Grand Prairie High back to the 34. And I don't know, Coach, if you're Grand Prairie High, stick to the running game. I mean, I don't think it's too early to panic and try to start throwing every down.
Not at all. I think that they'll. I look for them to come out right now and do the same thing they did starting of the ball game. Just try to run the ball straight down the field.
Leo Rodriguez fakes, keeps, tries to cut the corner and does so. Pick up 5 yards on the play from scrimmage.
Quarterback, number 4, Leo
Second down and a long 4. They alternate a couple of running backs, either Strotter, number 6, or Bizzer, number 33. Most of the time it's Strotter that gets most of the carries.
Again, I think Grand Prairie will try to take advantage of their offensive line, the size advantage they have.
Nimitz crowds the line a little bit, and there's a lot of running room for Strotter. He's got a first down inside the 50. Still going. He had 3 Vikings hit him at the 40, and just because of the leg drive, picks up an additional 5 yards. He comes up a little gimpy leg, though. And it looked like they had an oversized line to one side, and he ran to the opposite.
They were the tight end was on the right. He's correct, and they ran to the short side. They got a good double team on the corner of the front line, and kid did the rest on his own. He's a good running back.
He is, and he'll be missed if he has to set out a few plays. Bizzer, the bigger of the 2 in there, and Rodriguez is going to step back and throw. Plenty of time. Has a man, and this goes right through his fingertips. Tried to hit number 3, Travis Williams, and Williams just kind of sat down there in the zone and went right through his hands. Stops the clock. Under 10 minutes to go. Gophers have moved up and down the field tonight, but credit Nimitz, they've kept them out of the end zone.
They've kept them out of the end zone, and they have been able to make stops when they need to, at other points on the field.
It is Jones going in motion. And Leo goes up the middle for only a couple of yards. A new twist there with the wide receiver in. As he started in one direction and went the other, Corey Jones. We're going to keep an eye on that sideline and see if Strotter comes back in or not for Grand Prairie High School. If he stays on the sideline, that's changes the whole dynamics, I think, of the offense.
Exactly. It looks like he's got some type of lower leg injury, whether it be an ankle or knee, possibly. Not severe, but.
There's a man left all alone. That's number 13, Jones. And Jones has the first down.
As you stated earlier, Jones is a good athlete, very good athlete. Gets the ball in open field and can make a lot of yards after the catch.
Well, Strotter's coming back in, but watch the play.
I think that was just a curl. The outside receiver ran a curl to the inside. The inside receiver ran a quick out. They hit the outside receiver on the curl.
So Strotter's back in. He's just to the left of the quarterback. Gophers a couple of yards shy of the red zone, and there's Strotter. Wrapped up at the line, maybe pushes for 2. And he is upended by number 58, which is David Armillo.
He's an exceptionally strong-looking kid. He got hit in the backfield and ended up making positive yards.
Second down and 8. Gophers right now putting Nimitz on their heels just a little bit, trying to second guess what they're going to run.
Very much like the opening drive of the ball game.
Fake to Strotter, go right up the middle again to Rodriguez. Rodriguez waits for his blockers quite well and gets another first down. It'll be 1st and goal at the 6. I mean, Coach, that was a pretty big hole there.
Took the words out of my mouth. I was just fitting to say there was a big hole on the right side of that line.
I say this, Rodriguez has like happy feet. Those feet are constantly just shuffling around. But look at that.
You got the backside tackle pulling. You got an H-back pulling. Guys up front doing a good job blocking down. It's just down, kick out, and back's doing a good job.
Rogers was afraid of that before the game. He said, you know, the field's going to tilt to their side because they're so much bigger than we are. 2nd down.
There they go unbalanced there.
There's that quick pitch, and this time the Vikings read it. Guess who? Boy, our player of the game defensively, Jalen Ottifer, number 9.
Number 9.
Oliver just read it and crashed down on it. He didn't even buy that the quarterback was going to keep the ball. A lot of time you coaches tell a guy like that, go after the running back regardless.
Well, you know, you have a discipline scheme on offense. I mean, on defense, and you're going to have gap control philosophy and so forth. And but a lot of times you can have a player such as this one appears to be that just has a great instinct to where the ball's going to be.
He seems to be around it, doesn't he?
He certainly does.
2nd and goal. Rodriguez keeps, goes backwards for about 5 yards. He just pedaled as best he could.
It's a good example of the zone read right here. Good example. Old, you know, the old Darryl Royal triple option philosophy almost.
Ball might have come loose. Sands number 20.
Watch the quarterback shuffle his feet, read, pull it.
Watch right. He's going backwards, and there's. And look, the ball's loose right there toward the end.
Yes, it is.
Grand Prairie fortunate. 3rd down and goal. Only 4 seconds on the play clock. Get it off just in time. Strotter to the left. Tiptoes at the 1. He's in.
He's exceptionally strong for his size, or appears to be. Good foot movement, good strength, good balance.
I just think he had to miss a couple of plays because
he's kind of limping a little bit, it appears, over there on the sideline. I don't think it's anything severe.
Christian Garcia looking to tie. Another low snap.
Good kick.
And we're tied at 10. Hey, credit the holder that time,
There
Valenzuela, for making that one happen. But there's the touchdown.
There's a good hole in there, and he gets into the hole, but he does a lot after he gets hit at the 1 yard line. Watch it. Move his feet, head down, keeps driving his legs, across the line.
You know, the ball popped up, but he took it out of him. But it's too late. I think it's already over the goal line.
Once it breaks the plane, it's dead. You know, you got to give credit where credit's due on this drive. O-line. O-line did a tremendous job on that particular drive.
That gave them a lot of holes to run.
Yes, they did.
Gave them a good pass. And with almost 6.5 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter, we've got a new ball game. Back where we started, we're tied.
What do you think? First district ball game, overtime?
See, Coach, we have a thing. We have like an unwritten rule here that we don't mention overtime. Because then the guys in the truck, they get all upset. All right, here we go. Another pooch kick. Right out of bounds. Now that's how it's supposed to work.
That is how it's supposed to work, yes.
Sands fielded it, and it just went right out of bounds in the process. So let's see if Coach Rogers and company offensively come up and try something differently offensively? Do they maybe go to more of a quick passing attack? Will they try the sweeps? I mean, they've had a hard time running up the middle. As you take a look at Coach Rogers in his 5th year, took over for Steve Hohenberger. There's that little quick out pass. Got to have good blocks by the receivers to make it work. It's flipped around pretty good. Taylor, one of 2 players defensively for the Gophers to make the play. Also the free safety, Reggie Williams. The Gophers have an offense where they run 4 down linemen, 2 linebackers, and they really have 5 guys they list as defensive backs. It really is one of those defensive backs, kind of like a rover.
Yeah, Williams will be, you can see him back at the 30-yard line. What they'll designate him the free safety. You know, he's in supposedly the middle of the formation or field. Ooh, big hit.
Oh, but staying on his feet is Lawson. Didn't get much after that. So, as we expected, the Vikings are trying to change things up offensively, trying to get the players out in the open field, make something happen, but both times the Gophers were able to respond.
Grand Prairie adjusted well to both of those wide plays.
3rd, maybe 12. Hamilton just to the right of Ponce in the backfield.
Looks like a blitz.
And he goes in motion. There's a guy wide open in the middle, and Ponce just doesn't have a lot of time. He's going to try to stay upright, but no, just too many players. Look like Paca, amongst others, for Grand Prairie High School. Also big number 77, Palmas. Do we have another flag? Maybe defensive holding. Well, it's in the middle. So you usually see offensive holding, but they're pointing in the secondary. Now they're going to talk it over for a while.
Yeah, they're going to talk it over. Right?
There's no foul on the play.
So after everything's said and done, all it is a big sack for Grand Prairie High, and the Vikings are going to have to punt, I believe, in this 4th down. Just,
yes.
Yeah.
I think with the success of that blitz, the last down, you saw the blitz. Here it comes right up the middle, 10 and 46.
Yeah, Hollifield, the first contact, he missed, but it slowed the quarterback up enough to have the other guys come to his aid.
55 finished it off.
Paca.
Yep. What I was going to say, I think you'll see maybe more of that.
Half the distance.
In the second half. You know, we didn't see much of it in the first half, but I think with the success of that right there, they may start try to put a little more pressure on that quarterback on passing downs.
And to make matters worse, the Vikings called for delay of game, and not a lot of room for Aguilar to punt from. Gophers set to have really good field position and might even field this kick. And they do so at the 42-yard line by Middleton. Middleton reverses his field, comes to the near side, runs a long way and doesn't have a lot to show for it, but the Gophers have the football at the 25-yard line of Nimitz, and Coach Rogers is out there getting into the faces of his defensive players saying, listen, fellas, it's time to step up. Watch Middleton. As a coach, did you like this? Did you like to see them reverse their field and go this far around?
Not particularly. Very seldom does anything good happen in a situation like that, because most of the time you're going to have a specific direction called on your punt return, you know, return right, return left, return middle, whatever it might be. And if they reverse out of there, now, you know, they're on their own. Better be good, buddy, when you come over here to the sideline.
1st and 10. They faked Strasser. They faked the out, and they want to go deep, but the wide receiver went out anyway, and that was almost intercepted. That was miscommunication by the quarterback and his receiver, that time Jones.
Yes, it was. The receiver pulled up short, and the quarterback threw it deep.
Let's see who was back there in recovery for the Vikings.
There was a good chance for an interception right there.
Yeah.
Good play on the ball.
It just went right through his hands. That was Evans. He picked one off earlier tonight.
Yeah.
Almost in the exact same way, going high in the air for it. Quarterback keeps left. First down, got a lot of room. Inside the 10. Knocked out of bounds inside the 1. Showed some pretty shifty moves right there.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Again, the good read. They fake the ball to the outside. Number 6, he keeps the ball, cuts it back to the backside. Picks up a couple of blocks and almost gets in the end zone.
Sherman knocked him out of bounds at the 2. You know, the receivers don't have to do a lot of muscle blocking. Sometimes it's just getting in the way. And that's what happened there.
Be a shield.
Yeah.
Be a shield.
First and goal from the 2. Strotter hesitates and scores. Oh, we got a flag. Hold everything. That'll be a Gopher touchdown.
Alexis Strotter in for the 2-yard touchdown run.
Last 5 minutes, there's been a big shift in the momentum in this ball game.
It's almost like the speed and quickness of the Gophers have finally started to wear down Nimitz a little bit.
I think the speed and the quickness, and I think the what's happening up front. Those offensive linemen are beginning to wear down the smaller defensive front.
Boink. That hit the upright.
There's a good, it's basically a dive play or a counter back to the backside. Takes the football, hits straight up the field. Good strength, as I mentioned before. He's got good leg drive.
You know, he's not your D1 prototype, but he's so quick and shifty.
I think he just a sophomore. Is he the one that's a sophomore?
Yes.
Yes.
He may grow some.
Yes.
Did it ever irritate you that these kids grew so much between their senior year and their first year in college?
Oh, without a
they
doubt.
come back that first year and you're just like, what happened?
Who are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why didn't you look like that 6 months ago?
Isn't that amazing how
Yes,
that
it
happens?
is. I'll tell you another amazing thing that you can see in their maturation rate is that at the end of their freshman season, football season, to the end of school, every one of them you can't believe how they will grow and how they will mature. And of course, I mean, you like it. It's just amazing. They grow up and they become, instead of little boys, they become young men.
McGee takes the kickoff on a rare moment. One is kicked right down the middle and not very far. And McGee takes it back to the 40. So now the Vikings have some room. They have some air to breathe. They're down by 6. Not a time to panic. The only thing that's disconcerting at this stage for the Vikings is the fact the offense has been so lethargic all night. Looking for that one spark to really, get them going offensively.
Offensively, especially the second half, they have not found their rhythm. They have not found their rhythm. They haven't been able to get anything going. Oh, my goodness.
Incomplete.
Nice chance right there. That would have been a big play for them.
Tried to hit McCown, and, that was a good pass. Had good protection, had plenty of time. They kept a running back in there to block. Just kind of hit his right shoulder. It was a tad behind him.
A little bit behind him. Not bad, though.
No.
Should have been a catch.
Yep. Everyone is in tight. Now they break free, but I think that's what they're going to have to do. They're going to have to leave somebody in to block if they're going to especially do a play that takes time to develop. That was a quick one to Lawson. Lawson might have got 2 or 3 on the play, but I think that's going to be key. If they're going to try to do farther than 10 yards, they're going to have to leave more players in the backfield to help block and give Ponce time to throw.
And they're going to have to get the ball to their skilled people in the open field, whether it be quick passes to the outside or a quick seam pass over the middle, it's a quick slant. But they got to get the ball to their skilled players quick.
Lawson's in the flat. They're going deep to Winters. Winters is there and just missed the mark a little bit. You know, that's that one play we talked about earlier. You know, it's been there tonight.
Yes, it has. Yes, it has. Again, but it's just exactly what you just got through talking about. He was throwing under pressure. Right in his face, right there.
Once again, Hollifield, the linebacker, came blitzing in. So it's 4th down. I think the officials are.
Got a flag, I think.
Yeah, there it is back at the 42, and
6 and 1.
that could be defensive holding.
Our score was like 16 and 1 of the defense.
Blade James, a strong safety, called for unsportsmanlike.
That's a big play right there now. That'll really give Nimitz a little boost right there. And, of course, you know.
Gives them another first down.
Gives them another first down and keeps Grand Prairie's defense on the field.
That'll turn Bartell's beard a solid white. I mean, the Gophers have done this so often tonight. I mean, they're fortunate to be up by 6 points right now based on what they've done.
As you mentioned at halftime, statistically, they're winning the battle on the yardage-wise, but some of the mistakes are really costly for them.
Ponce goes over to Lawson, and Lawson doesn't have much going for him. Number 14, Baccarat Middleton, came in there and made the stop from the corner. The corners for Grand Prairie can tackle pretty well.
Yes, they can. That's impressive. Yes.
I haven't seen a lot of missed tackles on the edge, and that's really kept the big plays to a minimum. Last year, the Gophers won 49-36. Back in the 90s, the Vikings went 7-1-1 against these Gophers. Handoff right, Hamilton. Hamilton looked like he had a lot of speed and was going to do something with it. The hole closed pretty quick.
Looked like they were going to get more yards than just the 4 or 5 that they got, but I think that's what they're going to have to do. Here's a 3rd and long. I think look for a Grand Prairie blitz here possibly.
2 down territory. What if they get within a couple of yards?
Yeah, I think they would. Yeah, I think they'll go for it. No blitz. They're going to play regular. 3 down linemen, drop it 8. Up, walked one up, walked outside backer up.
Hamilton in the backfield. And we've got a whistle. Did they get the ball off in time?
Timeout.
Nimitz, their
Well,
first
they
choice
weren't going
timeout
to.
of the half.
Coach Rogers needs a timeout, so that'll leave him with just 2. Take a look at the schedule for Grand Prairie High. They've got, it's so strange for me to think that they play the Warriors, the biggest crosstown rivalry, 2nd in district. I mean, growing up, we always had that the last game of the year, but whatever. They play South next week. Then they got DeSoto, MacArthur, Cedar Hill, Irving, and Duncanville. For the Vikings, they've got a big rivalry next week. They've got the Tigers, then Duncanville, Cedar Hill, and they finish with MacArthur. Always our last game on ICTN. Might have a little chill in the air. I'm just happy with 70s. This feels great.
Nice.
All right, 3rd down and long. They put Hamilton over on the wing. They try a little wide receiver screen, and Hamilton, boy, look at him go.
First down.
Goodness, give Hamilton all the credit on that one, or scratch that Lawson, Willie Lawson. Boy, just got past the defensive end, and then
From there, he does everything on his own.
A lot of standing around by Grand Prairie. Lawson, great effort. Keeps his drive alive. McGee now in the backfield. That's McGee, shuffles his feet. Gets about 3 on the play before Reggie Williams. Tied for second on the team in tackles. 6 tackles, 4 assists coming into tonight's game. But the Vikings are mixing it up, and it's positive yards. That's kind of key right now. Everything's been positive. Ponce keeps a lot of room. Good downfield block. Inside the 15, another first down for the Vikings.
He's a big man trying to bring down in the open field. Again, it's a zone read. He keeps the ball. He comes to the outside, breaks it to the outside, breaks 1 tackle there, picks up a few more yards.
He's not fast, but his size makes up for it. You're going to feel it when you try to tackle him head on. Right up the middle. McGee, maybe 5, and a good way to end the third quarter.
If they can keep establishing the run like they have been on this series, that will be very beneficial for them.
Well, we have finished 3, headed for 4. The Gophers up 16-10, back with the final quarter in a moment. One more quarter left of high school football. Homecoming 2017. And the Vikings are trying to regain the lead. A couple of good runs by the quarterback, Aiden. Now things get a little tougher. Not a lot of room to stretch the defense. So they put 3 to the left side. Ponce right up the middle, plenty of room, touchdown.
Well executed play, well executed. Offensive line did their job. Good read by the quarterback on the zone read. Got the ball in the end zone.
That kind of looked like what the Gophers were doing with the size of hole right up the middle.
Exactly.
For the lead. The Vikings are now up by 1. Talk us through this one, Coach.
This is a zone read play. You can see he fakes it to the halfback right there. He's reading the ball. He keeps it, goes right up the middle, breaks a tackle there, another tackle. He's a big man.
Watch 16, instead of wrapping him up, he kind of just tried to push him down a little bit with his forearm. That's not going to work.
Got to give credit to 72. He did a good job. He pulled on that counter read and did a good job of getting up in the hole and clearing it out.
That would be Ivan Herrera. Good job, Ivan. And there's Ponce right there talking to the coaches on the headsets. What are they telling him, Coach? Is this more of a good job talk, you think, or just more of a, hey, next time do this?
I think it's good. I mean, it's positive. You're going to be positive with them all the time, and you're going to ask them, what are you seeing? What are you looking at? And when you're looking at this, what are you seeing? And if it's anything different from what the coaches are seeing upstairs, they'll talk about it. But if he gives them, hey, I saw this, I saw that, and that's what they saw, they'll say, hey, good job. Just keep it up. Be positive. Be a leader.
We knew you could do it. Keep doing it.
Yeah. Be a leader. Be a leader on the field. You're the man.
Well, he's only kicked it deep once, and this looks like another pooch kick on the near side. No fair catch. That means the Gophers will try to run this one back. Missed tackle, but the reinforcements are there. And the Gophers will have it at about the 38-yard line. Middleton fielded that one. Broke 1 tackle, but the reinforcements were there in a hurry for the Vikings. So here we go with 11:48. We got a full quarter of football left to go, and it's been a really great cat and mouse game offensively I want to see what Nimitz tries to do to counter the running attack for Grand Prairie High. Will they bring those linebackers in just a little closer?
You know, you would think. I mean, they're still, you know, there it is. You can see it. They're still lining up in their three-man front, and but you know they have the ability to shift. So we'll see what they do.
Outside backer in just a little bit, but Strasser to the right.
Good tackle.
Boy, it was a good tackle.
Good tackle.
Hit him at the knees. That was Evans again. Mac Evans, number 4, the junior, called his name out a lot. Boy, he had to hit him at the knees.
Good tackle.
Used his shoulder, forced him down. But the thing is, you know, everything's said and done. Strotter has 6 yards.
Yeah, yeah. You know, and it's the same thing they've been doing. You can see they pulled the 2 backside linemen, turn it up in the hole, and it's just, you know, they're just outnumbering the Nimitz defenders on that side.
Nimitz brings 1 linebacker up on the line of scrimmage, now 2.
Now 2, yeah.
And 2 out of the 4 are right on the line, kind of daring him to run, and it works well. Oliver, one of the first ones there to wrap up the quarterback.
Number 9.
Yep, he gets
Number 9.
maybe a yard. So that defensive strategy seems to work really well. Watch the pressure applied by Grand Prairie, and almost a fumble. Oliver, number 9, right there.
You know, when they bring 5, they can match strength with strength. If they don't bring 5, I think that Grand Prairie has an advantage.
But what happens is now Mac Evans, number 4, he's out on an island against Jones one-on-one if they try to throw. Don't have to when you got this guy running. And that's not even Strotter. That's Pfizer, number 33. Out of the 1-2 punch. Picks up another 10 yards.
That was another good open field tackle by Nimitz.
They got to tackle well. If they get in the secondary, there's no one left if you make a bad tackle. But, you know, the thing is when they bring those linebackers up, if you look here on the near side, there's basically one-on-one coverage of Mac Evans going up against Jones.
That's exactly right.
Quarterback keeps Rodriguez right side. Reels off another 8 yards on a play.
You know, coming into this ball game, Rodriguez was, I think, just a few yards, 4 or 5 yards behind, or being their second leading rusher.
Yeah, a yard.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was just a yard.
So I mean, he can tote the mail himself.
Ironically, it was 33 that was the leading rusher. Pfizer, Strotter, he just had like less than 90 yards coming in, but he's been so much more effective tonight. 2nd 1. DB's playing back on the near side for Nimitz. Pretty much saying we're going to throw the ball, and they are. Right to Jones. Jones breaks a tackle. Jones, good speed, keeps his balance. Finally pushed down inside the 20. Another Grand Prairie High School first down.
Rodriguez pass is complete to number 13.
That's a cramp or a knee.
Corey Jones.
I hope it's cramp.
I hope it is.
It's got to be.
Yeah.
I don't think he'd be moving.
It's a cramp.
You ever wake up in the middle of the night with one of those?
Oh, jump out of bed almost.
But the thing is, when you jump out, you can't even put any pressure. You like just crash.
Yeah.
Well, we talk about getting it to your good athlete in open space. It's a good block there. And he's just a step away. Luckily, Mac Evans was there to bring him down, and all of a sudden, cramp.
You know, you wouldn't think that would happen on a cool evening like tonight. I mean, now we've had all the hot weather, and they've been through it, and they've been accustomed to it. It's still the age-old thing that you got to keep them hydrated. Got to keep them hydrated.
Remember back in the day they'd give you salt tablets?
And and 1 swallow of water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when they put those like Gatorade slush machines in the field house. That was like the greatest thing because it's like a slushie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. You know, I look back, I've coached 38 years, and of course I've been retired several years now, but I look back to some of the things I did. It's a wonder I'm not in prison somewhere for what we did to those kids. But, you know, that's what
Sure.
everybody did.
Right.
We weren't malicious.
You're just going by the book. The book has changed.
The book, yeah.
The book has changed. There's old little 6 again. He is so tough to bring down.
He is a good back. He is a good back. Rob, you know, he can run tough. He can run in traffic, but he's a good back in open field.
This is Straughter, a sophomore, and he breaks the tackle. He's just so good at breaking tackles.
Keeps his feet moving.
There's 2 missed tackles right there.
Yep.
That's one of the, I guess, basics you learn right off the bat is to keep your legs moving.
That's something you preach as a coach, but again, it kind of goes back to, you know, some kids are better at it than others.
Second, maybe a yard. Leo keeps. Not a lot of room for the quarterback.
Good penetration on the right side of the defensive front for Nimitz.
Vikings do the job, and it's 3rd down. Well, the Gophers could try for a field goal and regain the lead, but I'm sure they're hoping for much more here. This play was just too slow to develop. And
yeah,
Duro, number 70, although he did not make the tackle, he kind of forced the play back.
Yes, he did. And 58 also. 58 caused penetration to make them change directions.
Good job by Armillo. So 3rd down, and we're going to get a timeout. We're going to reset the clock.
Yep.
3rd and short. A lot of movement by the Gophers. Strong left side. Yep. Straughter follows his guard, comes right up the middle, and scores. Goodness gracious. They pulled that right side as either a guard or a tackle, and he opened up the hole just big enough to let the little guy just scamper in.
That was a very well executed play, and the running back did a tremendous job. You got to give that kid a lot of credit. I mean, you got to give the O-line, but that kid is very good.
Do you go for 2 for Grand Prairie?
Not this early.
You don't?
No. You got a lot of time left in the game. A lot of things can happen.
They're going to go for 2. I guess he feels he needs that 7-point cushion. Left side. I don't think he made it. Nope, he did not. Tried to go to visor, left side off tackle.
Yeah.
As a hurried play. So now all it takes is a Nimitz score. That's 6 points, the touchdown. They don't have to worry about the other. But let's watch the touchdown.
Here's a good replay.
Watch the right side of watch the line. Watch 66.
Young man's hard to tackle. Here it is again.
That left guard pulled, and he just got in the way of Sherman.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't have to block Sherman. He just had to get in his way. Just
exactly.
Do enough to give your running back enough space to go through. So now the pressure goes back on Nimitz. Nimitz had a good drive their last time out.
They did.
It doesn't mean they can't do it again. All starts with field position, and I don't think in this ball game the Gophers have been able to trap Nimitz on opening on the kickoff any further back than the 30. Every time they've just kind of pooched it.
I think you're right. Oop.
Well, that one bounces up and around and finally picked up. Good pursuit by Grand Prairie High and the tackle made by Emmanuel Torres. And that worked in their favor. It bounced. Finally, Cameron Henderson picked the ball up, but that little squib kick worked in favor that time of Grand Prairie. But plenty of time. Don't have to rush things. Don't have to throw deep on every play. Stick to your game plan.
That's the key right there. I think they've got to stick to their game plan. They've got to try to get a rhythm on offense, keep the clock moving, take the ball, incrementally down the field.
It's all of a matter of who's going to execute better.
Exactly.
Start off with the keeper. Ponce just by sheer determination, got back to the line and plus some.
In this situation, you want to try to make, from a coach's standpoint, you want to try to make, everything has got to be positive yardage. It's got to be positive yardage, try to stay ahead of the chains. Don't get a big loss, don't get a big penalty right here.
Little pass. Lawson wrapped up, thrown down. First one there was Adron Taylor. Play just took too long to develop, Coach.
Yeah, it did. Yes, it was a lateral, backward pass.
Taylor, number one, was the first one on the play and just grabbed a piece of jersey and held on. So now things get a little dicey. Third down, 11.
I would look for the blitz right here.
Well, heck, they got about 5 guys on the line, 6. And players are turning and not looking. How do you coach players to realize as a receiver that there could be a blitz? You need to turn around, you need to look sooner, and the play didn't have time to develop.
Here they're coming right up the middle. That guy was basically untouched. Got a piece of him, but it didn't slow him down. And really the quarterback was, wasn't necessarily his fault. But to answer your question, it's just something you've got to drill and realize that if, when you're line up in a wide receiver position and you look inside and you see all of those linemen in there, you got to figure out, I've got to look quick.
Punt fielded nicely, picked up by Williams.
Good boy.
Williams turns the corner. And a good block by Taylor. Springs the edge. And now if the defensive unit was ever needed in this game for Nimitz, it's this series right here.
Yeah, they got to make a stop. They got to keep them. This sounds bad. Yeah, they got to keep them to nothing.
And he popped out of there. There was the block on the side. And the Gophers have the ball.
I wouldn't look for Grand Prairie to even think about throwing the ball. I think they will run it every down.
They'll just use all of the time off the clock they can.
Exactly, yes.
And Nimitz, they hedged their bets a little bit, but it doesn't help any. Beiser, left side. Beiser at the 10. Beiser at the 5 and down inside to the 3. Chris Beiser with his biggest run of the evening. And it comes on the first play from scrimmage after the punt. And he reels off about 36 yards inside the 5.
This was not a counter. This was a straight zone play to that side. And they just got good reach on all the linemen on the left side, got a good reach. And it wasn't a counter, and they didn't pull anybody from the backside.
Nice snap. Beiser again.
It's 44.
Yep, new guy. Marvin Hundley. Beiser had gone off because the helmet came off. So Hundley comes in for a play. And Hundley's getting coached a little bit, and Coach Rogers telling his defense to settle down. Beiser is still in there, 33. After that play, we got a timeout. Grand Prairie High School. I mean, right now, momentum and the shift right now is Grand Prairie's way.
Everything is in their corner right now. They've got it. Things going the way they want it. They just got to maintain what they've been trying to do. And Nimitz has got to come up with a big stop right here.
Okay, defensive outside backer. You got to bend that edge for me. Okay. I got to knife it down.
It seems like that size difference we talked about on the line has really been noticeable late in this ball game.
I think you're exactly right, and I think, you know, that happens. Obviously, the size begins to wear them down a little bit. But, you know, Rob, this has been a well-played ball game in the second half.
Yeah. Not a lot of penalties. Turnovers to a minimum.
Right.
Notice,
Both teams well played second half.
notice Jones at receiver still rubbing his calf after going down with the Charlie horse. Second down. Beiser up the middle. Beiser scores.
I think you hit the nail on the head. I think it was size and fatigue.
Last two touchdowns, I noticed the offensive lineman. The first time you see the guys kind of, you know, doing the chest bump, and this time they all kind of hugged each other, feeling like, you know, they were doing their job. You don't see that out of offensive linemen very often. Garcia for the point after. And it's good.
Got to push. You see the H-back leading through the hole. Basically, it's just an old, like a I formation isolation play.
They doubled down on the nose guard. The center and the left guard pushed the guy the nose out of the way.
And the H-back came up
in
through the hole.
Yep.
Right through, just like an old I formation fullback would do.
Beiser gets his first touchdown of the night. It had been Schroeder who had scored the last three. Beiser had earned that one with that big run on the first play from scrimmage after the change of possession. And now the Vikings are down by 12. And they've got to pull something out of the hat offensively to get a big play or two. I mean, it can't be a drive that takes all day.
No, they've got to put the ball in the air. They've got to come up with a big play, just like you said very early in the ball game. They got to have the ability to get down the field in a hurry.
First time they kick it deep all night. McGee takes it out of the end zone. He's coming to the near side. McGee with a tackle around the ankles. Reggie Williams, he's been one of their good special team players tonight. And he tackles McGee around the legs at the 15. And the Vikings need to come up with a big play offensively to get back in this ball game.
Definitely the clock is a factor now.
And Nimitz only has one timeout. I thought the Gophers had called one earlier. They say 3 on the board, I think. They called one right when they were right down there toward the end zone, and now Bartell calls another. I think they've only got one left themselves.
Interesting how they were getting ready to line up defensively. They had been in a 4-man front the last 2 series. Now it looks like they're going back to their 3-man front with 55 Kopeka back at linebacker. He had been playing some down linemen and causing havoc there also.
You know, this is once again one of the premier districts in the state of Texas, and you've got DeSoto at 2, Duncanville at 4, Cedar Hill at 9. Cedar Hill, DeSoto playing each other, and that one was tied up at the half. It's only like a touchdown separated the 2 teams. I don't know who can ever stop Allen. Arlington High School. There's a old school up there that usually the old schools aren't as competitive. Punts near sideline.
Good throw, good route.
Yep, but he dropped it. Awesome juggled it. Credit Ponce, he dropped it in.
Yes, he did.
We'll stop the clock.
He ran a little X stunt on the outside, brought the outside backer up underneath, down lineman around the edge. Created a little havoc over here, but
second down and 10.
there's their 3-man front. See what they do with the outside backers.
Playing a little soft, just kind of more or less shadowing what the quarterback does. And once again, it pays off defensively as there's just not a lot of room for Willie to run on the edge.
I think they're playing pass all the way, Rob.
Yeah. It's
know,
almost like a prevent. The guys are just
keep them in front. Yeah.
Third down and 15. Three wide out to the near. Hand off to Hamilton. Hamilton may get 3. You got to punt, right?
Got to punt. Give yourself a chance. Yeah, you can't. If you don't punt and they score, then you know it's.
I mean, obviously the clock is on the side of Grand Prairie High.
Yes. Yeah.
Nimitz came in leading this series 18-17-2. If Grand Prairie wins tonight, it'll all be tied. Nobody's back for the Gophers. They're just going to wait and watch this one bounce. They don't care.
Time is on their side.
That's one of those plays where if you're the head coach or the special teams coach, as soon as they punt it, you tell your kids run off the field. Don't
Good
even
point.
engage.
Good point.
Don't even engage. Just run straight to the sideline.
Yeah.
I've seen teams do it. I've seen coaches make their kids do that. Don't try to block. Don't do anything silly. Don't antagonize. Don't get a penalty. Just let the ball roll. I mean, you know, you're up by 12 and under 3 to go.
Yeah, you know, as long as the ball is rolling, the clock is running.
Yeah.
I mean, it's you're talking about, you know, just a few seconds, but
Hey.
sometimes it can be effective.
Left side, not much there for Hunley. He still bullies his way for maybe a couple. Haven't seen much of number 44, but it's getting his time to shine now. Next week, got a little crosstown rivalry as well. We've got the Vikings coming right back. Irving Tigers and the Nimitz Vikings on ICTN.
Let's see how far they run the play clock down. I would imagine it'd be 2 or 3, wouldn't you?
Oh, yeah. Almost down to 1 second.
Tapped it at 1, yeah. Good awareness.
I'm sure Hunley, who's a junior and plays linebacker most of the time, he comes in there and he probably had 3 coaches tell him, don't fumble.
I would bet more than that. Ever how many coaches they have on the sideline told him, you'll be okay, just don't fumble.
Under $1.50, and if Grand Prairie gets a first down here, then it's over. Officially over. Oliver, probably his last good tackle of the night.
Good pressure inside, and then Oliver cleaned it up. Oliver's had a great game.
He has.
Bless his heart.
Timeout called by Nimitz.
They're out.
And they're not going to go down without a fight. Maybe try to get a block a punt.
I would think they would go for the block. You know, if they get it, it's to their advantage. If they don't, maybe they force a bad punt. I think those options are greater than a return at this point.
Coming in, Coach Rogers was 2-2 in district openers. Lost to Irving back in 2013, beat R.L. Turner 2 years in a row, and then lost to these same Gophers 49-35 last year. And he's got a minute and 8 seconds to pull a rabbit out of the hat. to try to pick this one up.
I'll give Coach Rogers a plug. His family. How would you like to be at their Thanksgiving dinner when his dad and they're talking around the table?
Oh.
Dad's won a state championship. He's won 2. His brother's won 2. That's a pretty good conversation.
Good lineage, huh?
Yes. That is what they didn't want to happen. Don't kick the ball out of bounds. Keep it in bounds.
So it stops at a minute even. I got a good idea that Grand Prairie will go to the prevent and do like they did the last series. Just throw guys back and
try to keep everything in front.
Yep, let the play happen beforehand. Ponce really hasn't had a lot of time tonight to make things happen. That goes down. Completed to McCown, his first completion of the night. Came in averaging about 17 yards a catch, had 1 touchdown to his credit. That was about 4-yarder. Again, Irving Nimitz has no timeouts. Got to go deep. You got to go further than 5 yards, and they're going to try that here. Try to hit Lawson. Ball's a little short and low. Willie hoping for the flag, didn't get it. There were 3 Gophers surrounding him. And that will stop the clock. With 3rd down, they've got to get to the 45. Everything is 4-down territory at this point. McCown open.
Get out of bounds.
He did. And he gets a 1st down. That'll move the chains, but the thing is that just not a lot of time to make things happen. I mean, I think Gophers would be content on letting Nimitz do that.
I think they would be willing to give up lots of yards in the next 27 seconds.
Gophers have their 2nd string defensive unit in on the line. Ponce sets up shop. That's deep. Could be picked off, and it is. And it's picked off by Reggie Williams, a free safety. And that'll pretty much end it up. I mean, Ponce just kind of threw it up there, and there's plenty of Gophers surrounding it.
Good job of just playing deep middle. And, just letting things happen in front. And if you get a chance, pick it off.
That's what a safety does. That is what they do. And since there are no timeouts left for Nimitz, all the Gophers need to do is take a knee and call it a game. Well, congratulations to Alyssa Villa. She is the homecoming queen this year of Nimitz, but unfortunately, her guys will not bring home a win. Little warning by the official, I'm sure, about, hey, I don't want to see anybody start anything. He's right there in the middle of it, keeping peace in the family. And as the clock winds down, so do we. The final at Joy and Ralph Ellis Stadium, the Gophers 29 and the Vikings 17. We'll be back in a few minutes to wrap things up. We'll have the final stats and the second half highlights when we come back.
Second.
Well, a dejected bunch of Nimitz Vikings as they lose 29-17 in front of the crowd at homecoming tonight. Played their hearts out, played well. They just went up against a much stronger, more physical, bigger Grand Prairie High School offense, particularly the line. And that player in particular really gave them fits, and that was Strawder tonight. That touchdown there tied it up at 10 apiece. Then he came back and gave the Gophers the lead 16-10. The next time they had the football, they just moved it right down the field once again, and it was that young man, number 6. Extra point failed. It was 16-10. Nimitz didn't give up, though. Ponce in the fourth quarter, first play of the first quarter, goes right up the middle. They were on top 17-16, but Nimitz didn't have an answer for Strotter. He had 168 yards tonight. This came with 7:14 left in the ball game. And then his counterpart, Beiser, after a big run, a couple plays later, he scored to make it 29-17. And that's how we finished up things here at the stadium. The stats, and the stats don't lie. Rushing yards, the big difference maker. You see the difference in total yards. Turnovers pretty even. And even though the Gophers had 8 penalties for almost 100 yards, in the end, they just had too much of a powerful running game to change things and make it a difference in tonight's game. Final thoughts, Coach?
Well, I think, as you said, the difference with the offensive line for Grand Prairie. And, of course, you know, Strotter's the great running back. He reminds me of a pinball. You know, he just bounces around and keeps moving, and he's really a good back. But I think the offensive line did a tremendous job. Nimitz had their opportunities. They fought hard. They played well. And I think both teams played much better in the second half than they did the first half. So, you know, they got things to build on, and they got a lot of positives for both teams.
Well, they had split their last 8 meetings, but now the Gophers have won the last 2 in a row, and the all-time series is now tied at 18-2. Again, the final, the Gophers 29, Irving Nimitz 17. For Coach David Visitine, I'm Rob Willman. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time on the ICTN Game of the Week.